analyzing this one, volatility 50, just to give you an idea of what you should be looking for. Get me? So I'll be doing that right away. I won't be taking much of our time. So like I used to tell you, you need to have a clean chart. You need to understand the direction of the market. So if you come, I normally go from the higher time frame to the smaller time frame. So I'll be starting with the weekly this time. If you look at what is happening, you see that price is actually going up. We're having an upward movement where we have, this is a higher high. It came down here, a higher low. You mark it out so we get to understand. There's a higher low. So this is a higher high. This is a higher low. And then we've made another higher high. But then if you look at it very well, if you draw a trend line across it, you see that we just made, let me just use the close of the candle. We just made two touches from the last two higher lows that we had on the weekly. This is the first one. This is the second one. And that movement came about from here down to this place. So if we look at this, we'll see that we've been also making a higher high and higher low. Let me go to the daily so you can see that properly. So if you look at this very well, just want to try to keep the trend line a good one. So if you look at this, we've done the first touch, went up, came back for the second touch, went up. So I am thinking we're going to come back here again sometime in the future. But at the moment, if you look at this very well, you see we've been doing a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, and we're coming again for a retest to create a higher low. This is my flip zone. This is my flip zone. If I were to mark that out, this is my flip zone. And then this is my trend line too. Now, if you look at this, like I used to do, I mark out the last two higher lows that was formed, and then wait for the third one to come. So if you look at it very well, you see we are having that almighty touch on the trend line and also on the flip side. So price started here, went up, came down, went up, and is now on the third touch. So looking at this one as it were, you see we've also been making a lower high, lower lower. You can see that properly on the 4 hours time frame. So we have a lower high, a lower low, sorry, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and now we have a lower low. Now what I do most times is, because I already have them, I mark out the last two lower high, lower low, sorry, the last two lower highs. And now if you look at it very well, we're going to make a third touch. Remember, we are on the third touch on this particular one. So what happens is this: if I get if price continues to move like and breaks particular this particular lower high, this point here, if it breaks it and closes above, then automatically we should be buying. If it breaks the trend line and breaks this particular resistance and closes above it, then automatically we should be buying. Remember, what we have here is a lower high, a lower low. This is another lower high. Sorry, this is another lower low. We're trying to make a lower high around this area again. So if this bounces off the trend line and keeps going down, then we'll be looking at, let's say, we'll be looking at a double bottom. We'll be looking for a double bottom here to actually move the price high. If you go back to the daily, you'll see this is already done. We are already on the top touch of the trend of the top touch on the trend line. But there's something I noticed on this daily. There's something I noticed on this daily. Something I noticed on the daily. If you look at this move, all through this move here, you see that we're making a higher low until we got to this point. We got to this point. We got to this point. Price decided to do his own thing. Price just went sporadically up without giving us a higher low again until we got to this place. That is when the whole thing started coming back again. So yes, I know price may have hit our top touch and also our flip zone, but I still think price will come back here around the 276.9974. I still think price will come back to feel this place, and that is by still what price might likely do is to bounce off this and go down till we get to this point on the daily time frame. You get me? So these are things that could likely happen. But then if we don't get this field and price decides to break the trend line on the 4 hours time frame, if it breaks it and closes above 3189.926, then automatically we should be buying. So I hope we get what I just explained. If you look at it, we're still doing the higher low. We're not yet there. We're not yet there. We've only done this first and second touch. We're waiting for the third touch to happen. So until that happens, then we can know where we should go next. But for now, we are actually buying, and what we are targeting is this top touch. But if it goes beyond it and breaks the trend line and also this particular resistance here breaks it and closes above it, then automatically we'll be talking of buying. But if it bounces off the the trend line and keeps going down, then this one will be fulfilled. We'll be looking at targeting 2769974. You get me? We'll target that place, and then before we can now start seeing um, any kind of buy coming. So this is my analysis on this particular volatility 50.